Welcome to our final video, part 7 in the DNA RNA video series. We are going to end with how to read this RNA codon chart. During translation, you have to translate what the RNA says into the amino acids, which then become proteins. However, you need to know how to read them. Obviously, your body automatically knows. But if I give you a mRNA molecule, you have to tell me what it is coding for. So, we use this chart to teach us how to read it. So, up here at the top left, I have given you the mRNA. We have AUG, CGC, GGA, UAG. So we're going to separate those into the codons, which are those three-letter words that we will then use this chart on. And that will help us figure out what amino acid we need to figure out. So let's focus on this first codon, AUG. So we need to start from the center and go out. As you can read here at the bottom, move from the center circle towards the periphery, which is a big word for the outside. So we need to start in the middle with that first letter. That first letter is an A. So we find the A in the center. That means for right now, we can ignore all the rest of this chart because we're only focused on the quarter of the chart that has the A in it. Second letter. So here's our first letter up at the top, A. Second letter we focus on is U, AU. So within the A, we then move towards the outside and find the next letter. We know it's not G, and it's not A, it's not C, it is U, which means now we get to ignore all of this part of the chart because we're only focused on the part of the chart that is AU. And finally, we look at the third letter, AUG. A, U, and then within that U, we find the G. And we can ignore the rest of everything. AUG takes us to methionine. So, underneath the AUG, the amino acid would be methionine, and we're going to abbreviate that with its first three letters. When you are done with that, you reset the chart. For our next one, CGC, we find the C, and once again, ignore everything in the chart that is not in that C division. C, next letter would be G. Ignore the part that isn't CG, and then CGC. That leads us to arginine. So we would write A-R-G beneath it. Then reset our chart. G-G-A. G. Ignore everything in here that isn't part of the G. Second G. Ignore everything in here that isn't part of that second G. And find that A, which leads us to glycine, G-L-Y. Once again, reset that chart, add that tail back to that glycine. And then we have UAG. Find the U, ignore everything that's not in the U. Find the A, ignore everything that isn't part of the A, and G. Now, this gets us to this stop codon. That means we are done making the protein. So for this, we're going to draw a little stop sign. And that tells us it is time to stop making that protein. And that is how you read the RNA codon chart. Hopefully that will help you if you're having trouble figuring out how we know what amino acids happen during translation.